Hello everybody, it's me. I'm coming to you from someplace very untraditional today. I'm actually just finished packing up at the farmer's market. So I have all my stuff back there, getting ready to head home. I just thought I would say hello before I get too far into this video to let you know that I just haven't been feeling like doing a traditional podcast lately. So I tried a couple times. One time I even got about 10 minutes recorded, and then my microphone died on me and I lost all motivation. So I thought I would take you along this weekend with my market this morning, and then I will just kind of trickle in throughout the day, probably today and tomorrow. It's Saturday, September 6th right now, so I'll probably do some little snippets today and tomorrow and put together a little video for you. But I will fill you in on more details on life and why I've been kind of tuckered and all that later in this video. But for now, I wanted to say hello and show you two things that I worked on this morning. It was actually quite cold when I first got here this morning, so I was all bundled up in my woolies, and you never know if that's going to make for a slow market or if people will be in the mood for knitting. So you'll have lots of yarn sales, but it turned out to be a pretty good day. The first part of the morning I spent on my novice cardigan. If you have watched me before, you'll know I was working on this, and I was like at the ribbing down here. I had just started, and that was probably 3 weeks ago, and I just wasn't feeling it. And then when the weather changed, and today when I came here this morning, it was 44 degrees Celsius, 44 degrees Fahrenheit. It was like a 39 degree wind chill, so it was cool, and I was like, I'm kind of in the mood to knit on this. So I finished. I'll show you. Hopefully later this weekend I will get it blocked and be started on the button band. But look, I finished all of the ribbing on the bottom. I am knitting this in my angel fingering base, which is cashmere, silk, and alpaca. So it's very soft, and then I'm holding that strand with a strand of mohair. So I think it's going to be lovely to wear, but it's kind of in a purpley blue colorway. It's called Periwinkle. So I did that. And then when I finished that earlier, I always take 2 projects with me just in case I finish one. Earlier this week, I cast another pair of one of my favorite patterns. It's called My Go-To Fingerless Gloves, which I always think is kind of funny because they're not gloves, they're actually mittens, but whatever. They are, I think I have mine with me. I actually wore mine this morning, so let me see. These are the ones that are finished. They look like this. They're kind of like a ribbed mitten the whole way, and then you do the thumb gusset and thumb. So my kiddos really like this pattern, and I have a son who just started college this year, and he only has 1 pair of these, and I know that he likes them. So when I miss somebody, I tend to knit them something, and so I started a new pair for him, and this is out of Ruby and Rose's yarn, which I have purchased before, but this is the first time I actually have knit on it, and it is lovely. I love the color. It's coming out so nice. It is the Plump Rose base, which is an 85-15, and it is the Letter Writer colorway. There's the label. But I got a little bit farther on this, not too much. But yeah, I really like how the color is coming out. I think it's a good colorway to wear with like jeans or pretty much anything. My son Elliot, who these are for, his favorite color is blue, so I think these will be great for him. Okay, well, I think I'm going to pick you up here. I'm wearing the Sunray sweater, by the way. I'm gonna head home and have some lunch. I think I have to pick some fruit, raspberries, blackberries, and we even have a few strawberries that are coming in right now with our ever-bearing strawberries. So I think I'm going to do that and maybe relax this evening, but I will see you later. Everybody, or afternoon or evening, wherever it is, whatever time it is for you. But here it is Sunday morning, September 7th. And I am keeping it real. I am in my get stuff done outfit, I guess. I've got the leggings and I have new socks on. You see my new socks. You might remember these. I knit these. I started them last February, but I don't think I finished them until summertime, early summer. I forget what they were called. It was a Kay Jones Bakery Bears patron pattern. I think it was called the Love Story socks. I'll link my pattern page below. Anyway, I pulled those out yesterday morning. And I wore them briefly when I was outside at the farmer's market, and then I put them on today because my toes are a little cold. Anyway, I am working on a bunch of stuff today, but I thought I'd check in with you all before I get to work. So I wanted to share some progress with you on my cardigan. So last night I soaked it, and I laid it out on the blocking mats. And I didn't really seriously block it, but I did pin the area by the button, where the button band would go, because I wanted that to lay flat. So let me show you. So this is what it looks like. You can't really see. I mean, it is definitely flatter than it was, but you can't tell so much. But I added in the first side of the button band, and I'm pretty sure that this is, I was a little nervous at first. I picked up the stitches this morning while I was having a little something to eat before I got on the treadmill. And at first, and then I got so involved in it that I knit on it while I was on the treadmill, which was kind of an interesting thing. I don't usually knit on big projects on the treadmill. I usually knit on socks. But how I did it, in case you need to know this, is I threw hopefully I won't hit my microphone here. I threw this part of the sweater over me, and then I would knit on this, and the bag with my yarn I hung on the side of the little handle of the treadmill, and I would knit, and then I would flip it. And it was a good thing I finished it when I did. It's only seven rows is what the pattern says to do. And so it was a good thing I finished when I did, though, because I was getting kind of hot from having this mohair alpaca thing on my shoulder. But I think it looks pretty good. It's a pretty simple, knit one, purl one ribbing thing. And I found the buttons that I'm going to use. I'll show them to you. Here they are. Let's see. So they're kind of wooden with flowers on them. I did not do anything fancy for a light setup this morning. I'm just sitting in my office / craft area. But so these are the buttons I'm going to use. And I think if I hold it up here, let me see if I take one off. I probably don't have the right, but I think it's going to be about the right size. I didn't look closely on the pattern, but it looks about right to me. So I need to double check the pattern and see if it says anything about I'm looking at it right now. It does not say anything about like what size they need to be, which I'm kind of miffed on because I've never really made a button band before, and you would think that you would need to know the size of your buttons based on the buttonhole, but maybe they assume you're going to make the whole thing first and then you're going to find. So I'll have to do some jiggering if it's not the correct size buttonhole when I make the directions on the other side, just to make sure these ones fit, but they should. It looks like they will. So yeah, so that's where I've gotten on that. And I have a bunch of work to do this morning. Yesterday when I came home, I was looking at some stuff on my website. I have my point of sale app that I use through PayPal is it's supposed to sync with my website so that I don't have to do any cross-checking of inventory. If I sell it at the market, it's supposed to take it out of my inventory because it's all linked to my website, and it looked like it should be working as it was. But when I came home and I actually logged into my website to see the products, there were a ton of products from like the last 3 weeks that said they were in stock, but really I had sold already. So I'm sort of frustrated about that. By some miracle, none of the products I sold at the market were requested for a sale online. So I guess the stars aligned there. But so I got to fix that today, which is going to be a big pain in the tuchus because I'm going to have to cross-reference anything. And until my husband's going to take a look at he's an engineer. He's a computer engineer, but he focuses more on firmware and not software. So it's not his expertise, but he still knows more than I do. So he's going to see if he can do some troubleshooting to figure out why the app is not syncing like it should. And if I can't figure it out, I'm just going to have separate market inventory and separate online inventory, which is kind of a pain. But we do what we got to do. So anyway, I'm going to do that today, and I'll probably take you along. I'm mordanting some yarn because my marigolds are ready to be made into dye. And we're supposed to have kind of a nice week temperature-wise here this week. We're kind of like rebounding from the 60s to the 70s. And so I want to get that dye made, and my Christmas colors that I have, some ideas in my little idea book here, I want to get those dyed up so that they're ready. And those probably won't go in the store online until like maybe early mid-October, because, if you want to make a pair of socks or something for the Christmas season. So I'm hoping to dye that in this next week here. So I'm pre-mordanting some skeins so that they're ready when my dye is ready. I think I'm going to make the dye tomorrow afternoon after I take the cat to the vet, and then I'll probably dye on Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's the plan. I have to do that, mordant. I have to fix the website, and then I have a huge bucket of yarn that I dyed over Labor Day weekend in the United States, which was like the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of September. That needs to be skeined and labeled. And that is all going to hopefully go on the website this week, maybe even before this vloggy podcast episode goes up. That is going to be all Halloween and fall yarn. So that's kind of fun. So I'm going to work on that. I have to do laundry, as one does. And then here's my troubly cat. To do laundry, and then I have to work on some school prep for my son. So I have done, when I do school prep, I homeschool my son who is 13. And when I do school prep, I kind of try to plan as much as I can through. So pretty much every subject is planned through Christmas except for geography. World geography takes more work because I have to I kind of create that myself. He has a textbook, but we do a lot of like extra videos. We cook. We learn about the food from that particular country. So I have to preview some videos. I preview some videos, and then I make like little handouts for him to kind of like keep him, on task while he's watching it. So I've got to do some of that. And then I'm hoping to have some time to knit. I do have quite a few more projects that I want to show you, but I have been rambling here for 10 minutes already, so I don't want to take too much longer. I will say though, I'm going to tell you one more thing before I leave. This project, some of you shared some lovely comments about me from the last episode, this shawl that I had cast on when I wasn't feeling well, which, by the way, the drama still continues. I was back to the doctor this week and my iron is back low, so it looks like I might need an iron transfusion because I'm not absorbing my iron through my food very well. Anyway, I have several tests and appointments next week, but I'm hanging in there, but I've just been very low energy, very tired, which is one of the reasons that I haven't been very motivated to set up a whole, podcast setup thing and to do it kind of start from finish, because I get tired in the middle of it and I need a rest, or, I usually, if I don't do it first thing in the morning, I'm good right now, but usually by like 2-3 o'clock, I need a nap. But yesterday I only needed a 45-minute nap as compared to the hour and a half naps I had been previously taking. So we are making progress. But anyway, the pattern, this is the Millen 2 pattern that I talked about that I was going to be making for my doctor. Well, and then I had screwed up royally the lace. It looked totally wonky. And I had been knitting on it when I was sick. And you know what? After I did that podcast, actually, it was when I was editing, I realized that the point of this shawl was more to give me something to do. And I've talked about this before, where like sometimes you cast on things and they're just not meant to be finished. The reason you cast them on isn't, you think it's because you want a project. Like I thought this was because I wanted to gift this to my doctor, but I think it was just it was part of my, like, I don't know, therapy, I guess, grieving process of just sort of like, oh, it's been a lot kind of stuff, So anyway, I decided it's not ugly, but it isn't my standard of gift potential. And its purpose was that it made me feel good when I was doing it. So I am going to rip this out. I'm not going to give this to the doctor as I planned. And I'm not sure if I'm going to still make her something like knitted. Maybe I won't make her something until I see her again, because right now I don't actually have any regular appointments with her. She's my family medicine, like regular doctor. I'm seeing the nurse practitioner specialist in the perimenopause stuff in OBGYN right now. So, so I would have had to just kind of drop it off anyway, since I didn't have, a visit scheduled. So I might just kind of hold that thought until I see her again. But I do still love this yarn, and it really made me feel good when I was making it. But yeah, I'm going to rip that out. So just a reminder that not every project needs to be finished, because not every project is meant to be finished. So anyway, I haven't done it yet because I haven't gotten up the gumption to do it. But I so love this. This yarn never shows up as beautiful online, or on screen. It's just so it's so minty green. I don't know. It needs something. It needs its place to shine. I don't know what it is yet, but this is not it. Because although the shawl is pretty, I have no desire to finish it. It served its purpose. Okay, well, that's a lot of rambling. I think I am going to head downstairs. I'll probably take you with me and get to work on the website. Later on today, I hope to check in again because I want to show you some blankets I've been working on. That is what I actually was going to record a whole podcast on, was blankets, because I have 2 in particular that I have done a lot of work on that I wanted to show you. So later, blankets will be later. But for now, I must get to work. So I hope you're having a lovely day where you are, and I will talk to you again later. Hello everybody, I am back again, and this little vloggy video is taking me way more than just a couple days, but that's okay. I'm hoping it will still come out to you all next weekend, but today is actually Tuesday, September 9th. So a couple days have passed. I did film some other things that I was working on. I just never sat down again after I spoke to you on Sunday morning. So I have this is my kitty Cole. He is 9.5 and he's kind of needy. He was rubbing against my tripod, so I picked him up. Let's see if he will cooperate. So anyway, like I said, it's Tuesday. You may guess, if you watched the previous chatty bit where I was talking about all the things I was going to get done on Sunday, that I did not get everything done and that I tired out before all said things were done. And I am still working on the skeins and the labeling of the yarn. I have to say that as a yarn dyer, when I thought about dyeing yarn and selling it, I never imagined how very long it would take to, after I dyed the yarn, to actually get it ready to be sold. So what happens is once everything is dry, I have to go through and actually tighten all of the little strings that kind of keep the skein together. So when you dye, you want them loose so that the dye goes through everything. But then to skein it up, if you leave it too loose, it gets very messy looking as a hank. So I had to go through and do all that. And when you have like 80 skeins of yarn and you have 3 or 4 ties for each, it takes a long time. And I also did a lot of mini skeins, which is very time consuming. So I do have that all done, and I'm just on the skeining and labeling and photo taking process today. So I'm hoping to finish all that, although I did notice, I was really hoping to share all of my fall colorways with you because I was hoping they would be online by this weekend when this video goes up. But when I put together, I made so I have 2 Halloween colorways, and then I made a 20-gram mini skein set to go with it, but it was missing something. Sometimes when I create things in my head, it doesn't quite translate the colors the same with the dyes, and that's just, I'm sure acid dyers have the same problem, but it's a thing for me as a natural dyer for sure, because sometimes even dyes that I think are very dependable, they just do something totally different. And so that's kind of what happened. And when I saw my mini skeins laid out, I was like, this set is missing a color. So I'm prepping it right now, and I'm going to dye it today. Hopefully it'll dry by tomorrow, and I can get my photos taken, and it will go up soon. But what I will say is I will share all the new colors that are going to the shop, all the new yarn, which will be quite a bit. I have some on Very Tough Sock, which is the 80/20 fingering base. I have some on Sparkle, the fingering sparkle base. I have some on Sport base, and then I have some on, I think, my Aran weight that I dyed, and then some mini skeins. So there will be quite a bit to show you. So I will show that on the next video that I put out, but also if you want to stay in the know before then, there is a link below this video that links you to my newsletter for Berry Fun Yarns. And if you're not already subscribed to that, you might want to do that, because if I post all of the yarn before I put out a video, I will be sending out a newsletter to let my regular customers know. Okay, so that is the gist of my yarn update for you, but I did tell you that I wanted to show you two blankets in particular that I have been working on. So let me see if I can find them here. I do. So you will recall the last time I talked about blankets, I shared some crochet linen stitch square blankets that Toni Lipsey and her videos inspired me to start. And also Natalie from Nitty Natty was making a blanket for her dog Toaster. I started two different blankets, one with my DK Tweed scraps, and that one I think I told you was going to be donated to the Welcome Blanket Project, which donates blankets to new immigrants to the country to help them feel welcome, and it kind of shares the story about my family's heritage and all that jazz when you send a little note along. Well, I finished all of the DK Tweed scraps that I had, and this is what it looks like at the moment. It's kind of wrinkly because it's kind of been shoved in my bag. But I think, here, I have it on the front. I was only on this pink, it was just at the beginning of this pink one when I came to you last. But so it's pretty big right now. I do like the big green section, and then I kind of did the blue and the sea glass like opposite, so that's kind of fun. I stopped. I thought about pulling out some full skeins to add to it, but then I got distracted with a different project, so I just kind of stopped. I did think I might add some undyed of the DK Tweed in next, because I just thought that might be kind of fun to have, or maybe I'll stripe a couple rows or something, but that one's been on hold. However, my other crochet linen stitch square blanket, this one looks very different. If you recall, I was going to make, and I'll take this one, was a Kitty Wampus one from the beginning, but I was going to make a bunch of little squares, and then I was going to seam them together. Well, in the end, I decided that I didn't like that idea for two reasons. One, it was kind of fussy, although I don't mind seaming. But two, more importantly, I was realizing that my scraps, oops, I dropped my crochet hook. When you only make small squares, your scraps have to be kind of tiny in order for you to get a lot of variation in your yarn. And, because of that, let me see if I still have, I do. So what I mean by that, let me show you, is that these were some of the squares I had made before. So you see, there's a big chunk of purple because even though it wasn't a very large scrap, the square going around was very thin. So it didn't take a lot of yarn to get around each part. Here's another one this is when I stopped, this one in particular. Again, I didn't set up any fancy lighting today, so sorry if it's not super great. But so these were turning out a little more blocky and stripy than I really was wanting. So I decided to scratch this idea. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these, if I'm just going to leave them as what am I trying to say? Coasters, or if I maybe might sew two together and they'll be like a little snack kind of, I don't know, like tea and cookie kind of thing. But I'm putting them aside for the moment. And instead, I have been doing this, and I love this project. It makes me so happy. So here is where it is. Whoops. I don't want to unravel. Isn't that just so pretty with the different colors? So what I ended up doing is this center bit down here, I really loved that square. And the reason I loved that square is because one, it was variegated, and two, it had a lot of little scraps in one, and it just looked so fun together. So I picked up on the edge of that one, and then I continued. So I love that there are thinner bits of each yarn here as I've gotten bigger in my square. And this one I am crocheting fingering weight. And where did I put it is a pink, purple. I am using, is that right? A 4mm? No. maybe it is a 4mm G hook. I feel like that's what I'm using on my DK weight one. All right, well, oh, here it is. Yes, the 4mm G hook is for the DK weight one. The 3.75 F hook is what I'm using for the fingering weight one. So I'm putting that back in there. Yeah, but my notes and the link to Tony Lipsy's video tutorial are all on my Ravelry page, but it's just turning out so pretty. And it makes me so happy when I crochet on it. I think I have decided to, some of these colors have gotten a little darker as I've gotten here, but I'm really trying to stay kind of in a brighter color family, kind of, you know, like with the more summery fun colors and not the like deep jewel tones, just because I'm just really enjoying that right now. Yeah, so that is the, those are the 2 crochet linen stitch square blankets I have been working on. And I'm going to throw this hook back in here so I don't lose it. And then the other really big project that I haven't showed you in a while is my side-by-side sample blanket. Now this is the blanket, this is a pattern that will probably be coming out late September, early October. And it is a full size, like 50 by 60 inch blanket. There's 2 sizes in the pattern, 50 by 60 inches, or there's a baby blanket size that's a 30 by 30 square. But it is done corner to corner, so you can adjust it and make it whatever size you want. The directions are very adjustable. So my test on this blanket is great. The only thing that's stopping me right now from publishing the pattern, really, I think I gave my testers until the 19th to finish, but I would say, I think 4 out of the 7 have finished already. They are amazing. So if you're one of my testers and you're watching this, you are amazing that you finished this blanket so quickly, because this is a lot of knitting if you are doing, in particular, if you are doing the large size. So I started mine towards the end of July. So it's been about a month and a half. And of course, I'm doing lots of other knitting at the same time. Of course, I'm right in the middle of a row. But this is what mine looks like. It is a rainbow kind of pride sort of blanket. I don't even know if I can show you this. Hold on. I'm going to put you back a smidgen and see if I can hold this up so you can see better. So it starts way down here with the red. And then I went into orange and yellow and green. And now we are moving into the blue. So like I said, it's very hard to show you. Uh-oh, did I lose my... I did not, by some miracle. I have these super cute little stoppers on there. Okay, but so I'm way up here, and you can see the texture here. It has this little texture on one side with, you have the 2 knit one belows, and then on the other side, you have just 1, and that's just the nature of the pattern. But so it gives this very geometric kind of stripy pattern, but it's going this way while you can change your colors going the other direction. So yes, very big project. That one really bright yellow in the middle, I kind of second guessed myself, and I was like, I don't know if that's a little too vibrant, but I had knit it, and it is what it is. My one child said it kind of looked like it was Green Bay Packers for a while, but I did grow up near Green Bay, so oh well. But it was hard to find a yellow that wasn't super vibrant or wasn't more like goldy brown tone, particularly in the base that I'm using. This is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering that I'm using. So yeah, so that is the side-by-side blanket. Let's move you close again. And I will back up so you don't see so close to me. Oh. So yeah. So this blanket has been taking a lot of time, but you see here, I just turned this is where I you knit so far in the blanket for your width, and then you turn the corner and you go straight for a while on that side while you continue increasing on your length side. And then when it's the right length and the right width, then you decrease on both sides. So I am now on the full decrease. Excuse me, I just had to edit some things out. I just had a bunch of sneezes. My ragweed allergy is really kicking my butt this fall. So anyway, I do love the knit, but knitting something so large on a deadline, while I still want to do other things, like I knit this other sweater, almost a whole sweater as well since July, the middle of July. So it's just been a lot of, I have a lot of sample knitting happening right now, which is work. And so for me, sometimes I like to separate out like my fun knitting and my work knitting, even though my work knitting is fun. If you have to do it too much, I don't know if any of you feel like this, if somebody asks you to make a gift or if you're making a gift, it's not as enjoyable when you have a deadline. So, but I really want to finish this because I would love to have it for photos for the pattern that will be coming out soon. So I am working on that, and it is much quicker now than it used to be. At its widest point, when I was increasing right in this middle section before I started decreasing at all, I think it took me 15 minutes to get across a whole row. And now I'm down to like 7 or 8 minutes for a row, so it is much improved than it was. So it's going great. I need to put some time into that once I get my dye stuff up to date. There's just so many things going on this time of the year for me. I just don't know what to work on first. And to be completely honest, what I want to do most is like declutter a closet. It's like procrastinating the have to work so that I can do something that I think is fun. I think decluttering is fun. On a side note there, if anybody else out there likes to watch and videos about decluttering or organizing, that sort of thing, there is a new channel. It's not a new channel, but it's a new channel to me. It's called the Space Maker channel. I will link it below because I really enjoy the lady. April is her name, and she has a book that she wrote, but she just has a very calming personality. And, some of the people on there are just like ready to declutter and change things, and other people are not so much. So I really like that it's very realistic, right? Like it's not like, oh, you have to get rid of everything. She's like, no, you need to make space for the things that you love the most. If you love shoes and you have 30, 40 pairs of shoes, then we need to make space for you to enjoy the things you love. So it's an interesting look at it, but it always really inspires me to like just sort of look at what is it that I want in my house? Do I want that there? Do I want to get rid of it? Do I need that? Anyway, I tend to reorganize things when I feel overwhelmed. I don't know. It's a weird thing maybe, but we all have our own stress management techniques. So anyway, enough waffling and yammering on. I think I'm going to end here with all my chattering, because this is probably going to be a pretty long video with all the little segments thrown in and the little video snippets that I took for you. But thank you so much if you've stayed till the end, for coming along with me in this little less than traditional way of sharing my projects with you and chatting with you without feeling, in a way, so that I didn't feel overwhelmed or stressed about setting up for a big podcast. So it's been lovely, and I hope to see you again in the not so distant future. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.